From the high desert southwest and an indiscreet shave den located deep within the Rocky Mountains, broadcasting north from McMurdo Sound to the Arctic Circle and east and west across all time zones to our members, this is TSC Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be on this big blue marble we call home, and welcome to the second season of the Shave Cadre Radio. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are up and running again. We have a new name and a new place to call home. On deck for tonight's show is basically the interview with the three owners, myself, Chad Vargo, and Chris Lindsay. We're going to go over some of the questions that you had about the Shave Cadre Forum, as well as I am going to answer some questions on, or actually the question on what happened over in Badger and Blade, on why the radio show ended, and to make sure that there was no miscommunication whatsoever, and explain the reasons why things happened the way they did. We're going to also let you know where the radio show is going to be going, how you can get involved, and plus our very famous retro commercials. So sit back, relax, and thank you once again for supporting the Shave Cadre Radio and the Shave Cadre Forum. We'll be right back.
And for you men who are always late to the office, we have this built-in auto shaver. Saves time, gives you a clean shave while driving to work. But the street has to be pretty smooth. Whoop. Now,
this all-electric shaver really gives you a clean shave. Yes, sir, it takes everything off.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and to get rid of that big elephant in the room, I want to go ahead and address some things. First and foremost, I want to thank you so much for the support that you gave me during that suspension time over on that other forum. But just to give you an idea of why the radio show stopped, most of you had read that I had become busy and that I decided myself to stop the radio show. To be quite frank with you guys, that was to be politically correct and not to cause any problems. But the truth of the matter is that they removed my steward badge, and when they removed that steward badge, the radio show was automatically taken away from me. There was no reason why the steward badge was taken away, although I have my suspects, and so with that, I was not allowed in the back of the house anymore, so therefore the radio show was ended. And as you can see, a certain moderator that was involved in that tried to use my political correctness to say that that's why the radio show stopped, when in actuality it was actually him, and I believe it was him. I can't prove that. And like I said, I've got nothing against Badger and Blade. I've got nothing against any of the members over there. I just feel that a certain moderator got very power hungry, and it went from there. So anyways, that was the onus behind the show ending, but good news is we're moving forward. The show is going to get started, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun with it. Now, as most of you know, I have tried to emulate the show under a show that Art Bell did called Coast to Coast. And some of you know it and some of you don't. That's the reason why the music and why the format is staying the same, because I wanted everybody to know that the show belonged to me. We, in conjunction with Badger and Blade, we did do the show, but the show and all of its artistic items, other than their logo, which they gave me permission to use, was mine, so we're going to keep it that way. And in doing that, we're going to take a few questions, and one of them, and for those of you that are Art Bell listeners, you'll understand. This is John, east of the Rockies. I think an alien implanted a chip in my brain to cause me to buy razors. Well, actually, that's not true. It was probably the shaving cadre that invaded your brain and your wallet. So we're going to take some more questions from the membership when we get right back. Stay tuned.
If you have it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't have it. If you have it, you need more of it. If you have more of it, you don't need less of it. You need it to get it. And you certainly need it to get more of it. But if you don't already have any of it to begin with, you can't get any of it to get started, which means you really have no idea how to get it in the first place. do you? You can share it, sure. You can even stockpile it if you'd like, but you can't fake it. Wanting it, needing it, wishing for it. The point is, if you've never had any of it, ever, people just seem to know.
Welcome back, folks, to TSC Radio. That's right, the Shaving Cadre Radio, and the opening show for the second season. Just to give you an idea, we will be hosting these shows probably once a month to get started. We are looking at doing some live shows as well as also adding this to podcast once some of the dust settles as we keep getting things up and running. The forum media will be up and running probably within the next month, so you can download your own videos and so forth. And of course, we'll go over the rules for all that as well. And then we'll also be doing some things just like we did on the old show, where right before or the week before the show airs, or a couple weeks before, we'll be asking for member input, member questions, because we want you to drive the content here on the website. You do know that the Shaving Cadre's canon, for lack of a better term, is that to be a gentlemanly forum, we're a place where you can have fun without too much dictatorial items going on. So we want you to be a part of it, so please stay tuned in the the TSC Shave Radio forum as well. So to answer some questions, just to let you know also that bingo, yes, we are going to have TSC bingo. It will be regular bingo, and that'll be starting on May 15th. Sign-ups are going on now over at the Dave's Place, and the subtopic is the bingo. So please get signed up. It will be regular bingo, and no prizes to start off with, just a lot of good fun and ribbing, as we are always so good at. A question came in. I've often described in my aha moment with wet shaving to those that I've talked about. You know, that shave when you're first starting out, that everything just comes together and makes sense. The razor, the brush, the lather, the results, everything just clicked. And you thought, I get it now. Do you have one? Can you describe it, and when did it happen? Well, I've been traditional shaving for quite some time, and shaving with a straight razor. So I guess what I would say is the aha moment is that day when everything clicked. I mean, it was like you were almost in a second sense, so to speak. And at the end of the shave, there was no sting. The aftershave melded perfectly, and the cologne or the EDT or the parfum that you use melded EDT. And that's where I got the first DS or Dolphin Smooth Baby Butt Shave. I would say that's my aha moment. But I think when it does get there, and there's two areas where it'll get there. It'll get there with DE shaving, where you'll finally get the angle right, the blades right, the lather right, and your angle of attack right, and everything will just go smooth with all the passes that you do. I think in single edge shaving, it does the same thing. A little bit more difficult to get, the gem style razors or the injectors to shave just right. And then of course with the straight razors, 100 shaves, and you've got to be willing to give up some blood to the shave gods, and but just practice, technique, and it's all muscle memory. So I think that was probably my aha moment, and my aha moment came with the help of everybody here at the Shave Cadre, because I do believe that there's really multiple aha moments throughout our shaving career, because I firmly believe that I'm still learning. I learn stuff from the new guys, and I learn stuff from the guys that have been around a while, because we do get complacent sometimes, and I think that this is important as far as a hobby is concerned. So I think we all learn from each other on a regular basis, so we never actually become the Jedi Master. I think we're always Jedis in training, because everybody, no matter how much experience they have, can give a tip or a piece of advice. And that's what I do love about the Shave Cadre Forum, is that's what we really are. We're kind of trying to teach new people, teach us old dogs a few tricks or so. So thank you very much for that input. I think that was Craig that input that. If not, I apologize. And I've got two questions that are pretty close, so I'll answer them each individually. One was, what's your one piece of advice for new wet shavers or traditional shavers? Preparation. Oh, did I say preparation? The way you prep prior to your shave dictates entirely, in my opinion, how your shave is going to go. So if you prep your face correctly, you prep your lather correctly, you visualize the shave, for lack of a better term, your shave is going to go well. I think that applies to any shaving whatsoever. I think preparation is the key. Now, there are different ways of prep. Some people use shave oil. I personally don't believe in it because your sebaceous glands, if they're massaged, will put out some lubricant that will help your lather. People that use a hot towel, I'm one of them. So whatever prep routine you use that gives you the best shave, that's what I would tell any brand new shaver is preparation, preparation, preparation. So thank you so much. I think KJ gave that out or asked that question. And then finally tonight, any advice for the new straight shaver? Absolutely. Preparation, 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 preparation. And did I say preparation? Same thing. I think regardless of whether you're using a double edge, a single edge, an injector, a feather, a straight razor, it's all in the prep of the shave. How you get ready prior to touching that blade to your face. The only thing I would add to new straight shavers is have patience. Don't be in a hurry. I usually suggest, both with DE shavers and with straight shavers, but more so with straight shavers, that you shave with the grain for the first 2 weeks. Don't worry about the goodness of the shave. Just go with the grain till you get used to how to hold the angle of the straight razor. Chris Holmes, CMH737, has a great thing. Do your first pass with a DE and then finish up your last 2 passes with the straight razor. That works well too. So stick with one thing and one thing only. Don't try to straight shave and hone and strop and everything else. You're going to have to learn how to strop. So the 2 first things, in my opinion, are getting the angle right, getting your technique right, and being patient. Do not be in a hurry. It could take you 50 shaves. It could take you 100 shaves. It could take you 200 shaves. Just stay persistent, and things will go well for you. And then as far as the stropping is concerned, learn how to strop on a cheap strop because they can get very expensive. But more importantly, any advice for a brand new straight shaver is buy 2 razors. Have one honed up by a professional hone meister or somebody you trust to hone for you. And then when that one goes dull, send the other one out. Don't even try to learn how to hone for, I would say, at least the first 100 shaves. Get your technique down right. I think most of us that are straight shavers now have realized that we made mistakes along the way by getting involved in honing and everything probably far too early, and we paid the price for it in blood. That's why Murphy still visits it so often. So, but to answer that question, preparation, preparation, preparation. So thank you, everybody, for putting out these questions for our first show of the second season. And sit back and relax. When we get back, we'll have our Shave Cadre Radio owner interview with Chris, Chad, and myself. We'll be right back.
Pee-wee Reese has a way with Dodger rookies or Sandlot youngsters. Pee-wee, you do a lot of work with boys.
Not work, Al. I like baseball and kids. I enjoy helping teenagers start right.
Oh, that's around shaving age, and you give them pointers on personal appearance, too?
Yes, a boy has more self-respect when he's clean-shaved. I tell him use a Gillette razor, Al.
You said it, the Gillette Super Speed Razor. And today there are 3. Light for sensitive skin and most younger men. Regular for average skin and beard. Heavy for men who like the heft and feel of a heavier razor. Each is different, precisely engineered. One has the right blade edge exposure, edge angle, and weight to shave you in a breeze. Comfortable, good-looking shaves you may never have had before. And convenient, you change blades and rinse clean so. Choose your Gillette Super Speed Razor. $1.29 with Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and handy travel case.
Welcome back to TSC Radio, everybody, and we certainly want to thank you for joining us for our first show of our second season. As you can see, there's a new name and a new home for TSC Radio, but all the players are the same, and we hope to bring you wonderful shows each and every month. Tonight's show, we thought it would be very important to talk to the 3 partners, myself, Chad, and Chris, about the genesis of the TSC forum, as well as a bunch of other things that you guys have asked. And one of the questions that came in was that the genesis of the Cadre over in the shaving forums, as well as the genesis of the TSC forum. Well, I can tell you that a few years back, I was part of the administration of another forum, and Chad joined us. And there were some management things and some dictatorial items that we thought were going on that we didn't agree with. And I had just mentioned off the cuff, one of these days I'm going to start my own forum. And Chad and I laughed about it and said, yeah, maybe someday. And we didn't think anything about it. And then a little bit later on, some things happened, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But as far as the shaving cadre was concerned, all of us over in the journals that kind of hung around each other and followed us around, one day in one of my journals, I said that you guys were a lot like a brotherhood, a cadre. And for those of you that have ever been in the military, that's what that is. It's a group of gentlemen that would basically fall on a grenade for each other. And so that's how the shaving cadre and the shaving enablement, the Central Enablement Center was joined, or formed, I should say. And that's kind of the genesis behind it. Now, coming back to the TSC forum, I never gave it 3 more thoughts, to be quite honest with you. And there was a situation where my membership was suspended for a period of time over at that other forum. And most everybody disagreed with why it happened, because of a retirement business that I got involved in. And at no time did I promote it. However, they thought I did. But the outpouring of supports from you, the legacy members, and the new members here at the Cadre was unbelievable. Well, Chad and Chris gave me a call and said, hey, maybe now is the time. And they took the ball and ran with it. So what I'd like to do is introduce both Chad Vargo and Chris Lindsay, my partners here at TSC and the TSC Forum, and let them talk to you about what they did once they grabbed the ball out of my hands and started running with it. So, Chad, let's turn that over to you to start out.
Yeah, so one of the things that I kind of want to preface here as we get ready to have this discussion between the three of us, one of the things that happened, those of you that followed the journal section, if you remember back in October, I went down to Arizona and actually spent the weekend with Dave. And, that included watching the Utes destroy his Wildcats.
Here we go. He's been waiting all week for that.
Anyways, while Dave was driving me around and showing me, the city of Tucson and taking me around the sites, obviously, naturally, the two of us are going to have conversations about our role as stewards on the other forum and discussed, where we saw that site going. We discussed things that we didn't enjoy, things that we didn't like, and we talked about, this is kind of where we brought it up the second time. We should probably really look into starting another forum one of these days. And at the end of the trip, we kind of ended it with, let's just see where it goes. We're not quite ready to jump into this. Well, fast forward, like Dave mentioned, when the suspension happened, it just rubbed us all the wrong way. You couple that with the fact that they completely disbanded the steward program. They got rid of the radio show. I pick up the phone and I reached out to Chris, and I remember just kind of talking to him and saying, Chris, remember, we've talked about this for a couple times about starting another forum. I think now's the time to do it. And I told him, I said, we call ourselves the Cadre. I want to call it the Shaving Cadre, and I'm going to go buy a domain. So I went and bought the domains, purchased those. We linked them to just a simple Facebook page to get started, as you legacy members remember. And then Chris, the next thing I know, within 3 or 4 days, he's purchasing the software. He's purchasing the host, and all of a sudden we've got a forum. And it was rough in the beginning, and it's we've still got a couple of things that we're working on that are under construction, but it just completely got away from us. And then we had Dave, obviously, throughout the whole thing, roping him in, and he knew what was going to happen. But like you mentioned, he had his the retirement business too going on. But we couldn't do it without the three of us. That's for sure. So,
Agreed.
Chris, what do you want to add here?
Well, I remember only a few conversations along the lines of starting our own forum someday. And it was always in context of how we might want to just have things done better. But all we really cared about was we had a place that we could all yuck it up. We enjoyed going back and forth with one another. Just having a place to do that was important for us. And I don't believe in doing things halfway. When the opportunity came up and the need came up for us to have a different place to play, I figured the two of you already said you were on board if it happened. So am I. Let's make it happen. And, the unique thing is the fact that Dave, despite the fact that he didn't, cue anything up, when he retired and kind of went into the whole, the shaving business, I think there was a little bit of jealousy. I think we all wanted a piece of it. So now we're running a forum and everyone's enjoying themselves, and it's already feeling fun. So that's all that's what I'm thinking there is, the opportunity came up. You guys made it easy. We've been friends through the forum,
years.
Other forum, for years. It was a natural move, just absolutely natural move.
Well, and I think you guys both touched on it exactly the way it is. And for those of you of the TSC that don't know us very well, we bring all three of us bring a unique. A unique style to the ownership of the forum. With my background in the insurance fields and some of the financial stuff, and then of course now, being involved in barbershops and the shaving realm. Chad has got a brain that most people wish they could have, even though he likes Utah, but we won't go into that. And then Chris has got the financial background, and so we all have been in the customer service business. We've all been very, very cognizant and witnessing the things that we wanted to see in a forum that we were powerless to do things. And that brings us to our next question, excuse me, that came out, is that some of the members are interested in hearing, how do we see the Shave Cadre forum fitting into the world that has all the other shave-related forums? In my opinion, all of the forums are good. Even the forum that we spoke of earlier. We all cut our teeth at that forum. So I am forever going to be grateful to that forum, for what we learned, to do right and what we learned not to do. And so for us, I think we're going to fit in maybe even a little bit better because, as Chad and Chris will confirm, we want a forum that people can be a little bit freer. I mean, there's still rules just like anywhere else, but you don't have to be looking over your shoulder to see if a moderator is going to slap your post. And that's about as blunt as I can put it. Would you guys expand on that?
Absolutely. I'll pick up on that. I see us fitting in very well, like you said, Dave, with other forums. It's not an either or. It's an and. And it's about being able for anyone that's looking for information to be able to find the information they need and want. So to that end, I think that, any time you have another forum come aboard where more information can be made available, that's always a good thing. But from my point of view, the thing that we all wanted to see was a friendly place, a gentlemanly place for us to be gentlemen and share our stories. The discussion of, being over moderated, that's one of those things that gentlemen don't need to be moderated. They just need to be coached on how to be a better gentleman.
Here.
So I think that we're going to be a unique place, but we're not trying to be the place. I envision we will be the place, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to just have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I think you both. Yeah, you both really hit the nail on the head there. I think one of the things that I'll add is that what my background in my business life, I do a lot of market research, and so I've always looked at the forum that we came from and tried to understand how they interact with their customers, how they're making money. Let's be honest, And then I wanted to also look at, once we started our forum, I went out and I looked at a bunch of other forums. And just doing market research. And if there's one thing that I can say is that I don't want to really, yes, we're naturally going to compete against them, but I don't need to say that I'm competing against these other forums. I just want this place to be the best that it can possibly be. And really, that's only possible with our membership. So, that's why we want to give back to our members. And then in return, the rest should just speak for itself. I mean, this is a place. The Shaving Cadre is now a place where you can go, you can interact, you can talk about your day, you can, explain what's going on throughout life. And it's more personable than Facebook, just even as that is a stretch. it's a great place to call home. And that's really what I want it to be. It already is that for me, and my goal is to get that for every other member that we have, is just make it another place that they can call home.
Well, and I think
like that, yeah.
that's perfect. And and you guys have heard this from me a billion times when I say the membership is the lifeblood of this forum, and I mean that here as well. The beauty is my partners, Chad and Chris, we're good friends. We were good friends before we ever even thought of this. Of course, Chad and I have spent time together, and it's a really neat dynamic because me being the old man of the group, so to speak, but then, Chris being a generation behind me, and then, of course, we have our little baby boy, Chad, with us. But, the nice thing about this is we also, what you can guarantee that you'll see from us is we're enough alike to where we can have adult conversations, even if we disagree. And believe me, when this was all starting, there were some debates on how we should do this, how we should do that, but we respect each another like brothers and friends to listen to each and every one of our discussions and say, okay, wow, I didn't think about that, or I didn't think about that. So the dynamic of us three partners, I think, is unique in all the business dealings I've had, because we do listen to each other, because, here we've got Chris and I a little bit older, and here comes this young whippersnapper with this crazy idea. Well, guess what? Sometimes you can teach an old dog a new trick. And the good thing about Chad in this case is Chad, and take this as a loving compliment, Chad's a taskmaster. He will keep us on point for dates, on when we're going to roll things out and when we're going to do things. Because obviously we all have jobs. We all have, even though I'm in my second career now in my retirement, but it keeps us on task, and I think that's a good thing. And the nice thing about all that is it all works in concert. I mean, would you guys agree with that assessment?
Sure, yeah.
I would.
And Chad is a taskmaster. But it works. It works.
Yeah.
And I think that same thing.
Don't ever feel like cracking the whip or nothing.
I think the same feeling is what we want the forum to be as well. Everyone's opinion should matter, and stepping on somebody is not a good thing. But when you have a place like us, where the three of us, we can safely express what we think we want to see happen, mm-hmm. and have a conversation about it, and feel comfortable enough to let our idea go for the greater benefit. It's a good thing.
Just to add to that, if you think about this, the three of us, we've been at this now a little over a month, technically, about 6 weeks. We've technically already have had members come to us, and whether that's through PM, phone call, text message, Facebook, private message, whatever it is, just asking us questions like, what's this going to be? How is this going to be different? Are you guys going to be, how are you going to moderate? Are you going to allow profanity, for example, or something to that effect? And we've already dealt with these types of questions, and mm-hmm. Dave, you touched on it a little bit. All these questions that the members, have already asked us, I promise you, the three of us have discussed it, not just like via text. No, the three of us have gotten on the phone and we've hashed it out. Mm-hmm. And there have been times where we've disagreed with each other.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, the three of us put our heads together and we picked what we finally came to an agreement on was the best option to move this site forward. And that's just, it goes to what both of you have been saying, how it's happening, but the three of us are just working together, and it's working out amazingly well, considering that there's more than 1,000 miles between all three of us. I mean, you got Chris in California, myself in Utah, and Dave's down there in Arizona. So, it's somehow we're making it work.
Well, and you couldn't have said it any better, but I think Chris will agree with me that come June and July, California, where he's at in California, is not that much different than Arizona.
That's true.
But
That's true.
and I think it's important for the members to understand that any topic that comes up or any question that comes up from you, the member, is discussed. I mean, there's not an arbitrary decision made. If it's something serious enough, All three of us get together. We communicate on a daily basis, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, regarding Shave Cadre business. So you guys need to know, as the members, is that we're always on top of things. Have you also noticed we don't have moderators right now? We've got the 3 owners that are doing it. Now, at some point, we may go down that road, but we're going to see how it goes, because self-moderation, as Chris mentioned earlier, I think is a paramount to how good we can become. Because if we can self-moderate, then we're all having fun and we're all doing the right thing. And that leads us to our final question from the members. And what can we look forward to? Wow, that's the sky's the limit. I'll just bring my piece of it. Obviously, we'll have the radio show. What you're going to see on the forum is a media forum where you, the member, can download specific videos for your shaving. Now, there will be rules as far as copyright and stuff like that we'll get out over probably the next couple of weeks. But we're going to have shaving tutorials. We're going to have member shaving videos. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff that you guys can be interactive with, which I think is going to be very, very important. Another thing we brought back the hobbyist section. Most of you know Eric Sorrentino. He is our first hobbyist. This is allowing you, the guys that may not be a big commercial company, to show your wares and deal with each other off post. Our vendor program is much more inviting to the actual big-time vendor, meaning that it's not going to be quite as expensive for them to be a part of the forum, and they're going to be encouraged to talk to everybody in the other forums and never be accused of trying to push their product. And I think that's going to be very inviting for them. And I'll turn it over to Chad and Chris for the things that they have that are coming for TSC.
Well, I think kind of the first thing that I'm going to start with a simple promise. First of all, the 3 of us, everything's paid for. Mm-hmm. I want to make that perfectly clear. Yep. Everything's paid for. We're up and running for at least a full-on year, no matter what. And what that means is we're in this trial period, and it'll technically kind of last a year. We've got a year to make this right, and then that's where, we'll figure out the best way to move this forward. But there's no worry about that. One of the things that I love about this site and what we're doing is that it should be already apparent to you guys. We're trying to avoid simple things like banners at the top of the page telling you to go check out something from Google AdSense or something to that effect. We're trying to avoid that. We recognize that we might have to go down that road eventually, but we're trying to avoid it. We've got the hobbyist section. We've got the vendor program that'll be rolling out soon. And then a couple of you have even made donations, but that's the point that I'm trying to get at here is that the future looks bright, and we're not in this to make a living, the 3 of us. We're in this to create that place, like Chris mentioned earlier, that we can come, we can just relax, we can chat, we can enjoy each other's company, and we can just move this dream forward. And that's what we've got going here.
Yeah, and I would add to that, one of the things that you're going to notice going forward, changes that you see going forward, a lot of it's going to be and has been driven by our membership.
Absolutely.
We had a vision, and we're executing that vision. But the thing that we recognized early on is there's 3 of us, and our vision is too narrow. We need, we want the input from our members. Now, of course, the 3 of us are responsible for making this, a functional forum, compliant with all rules and laws, and keeping, everybody from getting in trouble from doing things that are just wrong. But our membership is going to help us feed what things look like. One example is there's already a thread started. Ask Tom, the haberdashery. Mm-hmm. I'm stoked that that's happening. I dress like an idiot, but this guy, he's top notch. I mean, you've seen his pictures of him. He looks great. And we need that help. We want that. But I think that's kind of cool because, a lot of you said that you'd like to see something haberdashery, and Tom said he'd, kind of lead the way. So it works. Yeah. But that's kind of what we're going to see going forward is a slow evolution that really feeds the needs of the family, the cadre. What it's going to look like in a year, I think it's going to look great. I know the things we've talked about, but as you see them roll out, they'll be rolled out with you in mind, the membership.
Yeah, I don't think.
Don't be afraid to reach out to the three of us. I mean, you can send us an email. You can send all three of us a private message, and we will listen to what you have. I mean, that's why we've got, like what Chris mentioned, we've got Tom sitting here and answering these haberdashery questions. We've got, great threads already out there. We've got TJ sitting there, and he's showing out, and he's showing us how to make new scales and everything like that for his feather, and these are the types of things that are going to keep coming, and it's because you guys, as the membership, keep pushing it, keep throwing these topics out there, keep posting this stuff on there. You shouldn't be afraid to post something. You shouldn't be afraid to put it on there and start the conversation, because that's what this site is about.
You guys said it, and I must mention this just because you know me. Now, are some of the things that you guys want to see going to happen? No, not everything will happen. Are there some rules and stuff that you guys may disagree with sometimes? Yes, but please understand that we, us three, discuss everything, and we don't make an arbitrary decision, and it's all for the betterment of the forum itself. And the guys know this very well for me, is I want to be able, even though I'm way past that point, but in Chad's case, when his son gets old enough to say, "Hey, Daddy, what you doing?" Chad should be able to lift him up on his kneecap and say, "Oh, I'm at the TSC forum, check it out," and not have to worry about censoring anything. We're not saying it has to be 100% Mickey Mouse and G-rated, but a gentleman is a gentleman is a gentleman at all times. And so understand that that's what we're kind of expanding on. But we also want to keep it free at the same time. And so that's, and that's a tightrope that we try to walk to make it better for you guys. So you guys don't have to worry about, the over moderation of things. I really can't state that any more clear, I don't think. Can I, guys?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, it comes down to the fact that if the three of us came together and we have to say no, which I don't see happening all that often, but when it happens, because it's going to happen, and it has happened already,
sure.
But when we have to say no, it's for the betterment of the website, in our three's opinion, and the betterment of our brand that we are trying to create. And that's, at the end of the day, regardless of disagreements or what might happen, the three of us are on the same page. We want to keep the Shaving Cadre going, and if our three heads come together and say no, it's for a reason that we believe is for the best interest of our website.
Well, and I also think the membership, understands that we are an actual partnership, and we all have made financial and time investments into this. So the beauty about this is, at least from my end, guys, is I can't think of two other gentlemen I'd rather do this with, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you, the three of us are businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's not obvious until you see all the things Chad does outside of work. Yep. He's a businessman too.
Yep.
So we're all very aware of what it takes to run a business and protect and build a brand. And I think that we feed off of one another, feed into one another very well.
Absolutely.
The amount of hours, I don't know. I know that each and every one of you have put in hours, but I can tell you the first month was running 30 hours a week for the first at least 3, if not 4 weeks.
Oh yeah.
It's slowing down some now, but we put a lot of work into this, but we were able to do it both together and independent because we had the same vision. It was the vision was super clear to all of us when we started this.
Yeah. And credit to our wives. I mean, at least on my end, my wife, I think she recognized the fact that this was something I was passionate about, and she saw, that the other website was starting to cause me headache, was starting to cause me grief. I'll admit it, I was hurt when I lost my steward badge over there. Mm-hmm. I was hurt that was taken away from me, and that I felt like I was no longer able to connect with my friends that I wanted to be able to connect with. And now here we are, and we've got it back, and Chris is right. I mean, 30 hours plus, shutting my office door and closing the blinds because I'm on the shaving cadre instead of working. So, it was a lot of that. It's a lot of hours. Sure. It's a lot of time investment that I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's been. If someone was to ask me, oh, hey, these three guys just started a shaving forum and they're up and running in pretty quick order, how much of a quality forum do you think it is? And without looking at the forum, I'd say, probably not that good. It's probably a wild, wild west shootout, but that's not the case. This has been one of the smoothest things that I've ever seen, even on the business side of things. And I think that's a testament to how well all three of us work together. And for you out there listening, the members, this should tell you something right then, is that if the three ownership work together very well, then we're going to do everything we can to make this the best forum we can.
Amen.
Yeah, it's got to be a fun place to hang out, and it's home.
Exactly.
Home. I spend too much time on the site as it is already. It's home.
Yeah, you couldn't said it any better than that. Well, guys, from my end, and I mean this, and I think you guys know this, you know me well enough, from the heart, I could not think of two partners I would rather be going down this road on, and I think that the members have also shown that they support each and every one of us, number one, and each and everything we're doing for this forum. So I want to thank you guys personally on the air, for the world to hear. Thank you for being my brothers, and thank you for being my partners.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I echo everything that you said, and I'll extend it one step further, and I'll throw the thanks out there to every single one of our legacy members.
Mm-hmm. Here.
The additional 12 of you that started out with us on Facebook and helped us during testing, finding bugs, helping us uncover issues, answering our questions, our polls. Thanks to you, because we leaned on you guys heavily, and we're going to continue to lean on you. And not just you legacy members, but the people that have joined since, that are being invited, that are joining, that are just finding us, that are just stumbling upon us. Thanks to you also. And you as well should not be afraid to reach out to the three of us and ask questions or pitch ideas, because that's the only way this site's going to get better.
Well, that's probably as good a part as any to end this interview, because that was absolutely fantastically said, Chad. But there is one small question that somebody did ask that I must kind of address. And, Chad being the youngest of us, in fact, he's young enough to be my son, considering that I am right about the same age as his father, mentioned about why Chad is the better looking of us three. And many people said, oh, well, maybe he was talking about three other things. Well, unless he was talking about the rumps of three dogs, I don't think that was it. So what I must say is, if you look at Sean Connery when he was young, he was dashing, he was young, he looked great, but most women will say that they really like Sean Connery when he got some miles behind him. Wouldn't you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, that's a great visual.
But to be fair, I've got to let Chad, we could cut the interview right here, but I'll be nice, and I'll let our young son of a partner kind of expand on why he thinks he's so much better looking than us distinguished people.
Well,
it's the goatee.
It's the goatee. Oh my! Well,
you mean that thing he's been trying to grow for 4 years?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on, Dave. My goodness. I think you fell out of too many airplanes.
Well, come on. You asked the question, so we want to know, too. Chris and I want to know why you're so much better looking than the rest of us.
Well, I guess I just eat healthier. I'm not being baked by the sun constantly. I live in 4 seasons of weather. I mean, I think you're just a little too well done. I mean, nobody likes a steak well done, and I think that's where you're at right now.
Chris, what is it that they say about the women say about Robert Redford?
Robert Redford's way before my time. I think he's more in years, but man, yeah, there's not a woman out there that doesn't love Robert Redford and Sean Connery.
Exactly, and
They've
they're
been
both,
forever.
and they're cooked. I mean, they're cooked.
Yeah.
They are well done, burnt, fried, and put together. So,
Oh,
hey, Chad, is that your wife laughing in the background?
it could be.
I do think it's the goatee, though. That,
It is.
you
It
notice
is.
that
It's the
we all
goatee.
now have a little bit of facial hair right around the chin area.
It is. It is the goatee. It is. The
Handlebar mustache is coming next.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's that's one other thing why the partnership
I keep
works.
mine, though.
We all have facial hair. We have to look into this scientifically. We all have facial hair. Well, two of us have facial hair, and one's getting there sooner or later. But that's that.
Oh, please. Please.
Anyhow, guys,
Last time you saw me in person, it was still brand new. It was just a couple weeks old. So
no, I kid, and we did that, guys. To the members, so you know how much fun we do have with each other, because Chad and I have been ribbing each other for ages. In fact, it was so funny that at the other forum, many people thought that we disliked each other because we went back and forth. Hence the whole thing with Banda Prosciutto and Menudo and the veg and the tobacco veg. And you guys got to understand that that's what makes this so much fun, is that we can rib each other back and forth, and at the end of the day, still love each other. That's the beauty of it.
yeah.
And so I told Chad that I wasn't going
So have you had any tide problems again, or?
Oh no, I'm not allowed in the laundry room.
Oh, and since we're just on this now, we're just going to let the radio keep going, and so the members can see how crazy you are. I am now the proud papa of 2 ducks.
Excellent, good job, Dave. Good job.
2 ducks, and we got 3/4 of the chicken coop put together, but unfortunately, we went to go get chickens, and my wife is convinced that she has to have Rhode Island Reds because all they had was the little ones. It starts with a B.
Bantam, yeah.
the
Rhode Island
Bantams.
Reds are beautiful, but your ducks, you're going to love them.
I can't wait. So anyhow, go ahead, Chad. Call me a hillbilly duck farmer. I dare you.
Oh, you're fine. I was gonna add that, Chris is also part of this. We need to get, a live webcam up at his house, whether it's the glue incident, whether it's the washing incident with
The goat.
Yeah,
Don't forget the goat and the rooster.
the goat. Yeah, the rooster, that rooster. We haven't heard about the rooster in a while. What's going on with him?
He's not looking real good.
Uh-oh.
He's shedding.
Oh.
I'll be making a brush with his feathers.
The mental picture I have of a shedding rooster, oh man, I can't unsee that. Anyways, so I just wanted to thank you guys, and for those of you that are listening, yes, this is going to make it into the final cut because it is our first show. But once again, Chris, Chad, like I said before, I can't think of 2 other partners I'd rather have, and I want to thank you so much for joining us late on a Sunday night to get this interview done. And all I can say to the members is stay tuned, guys, because the ride's just starting.
Yeah.
Buckle up. It's going to be a fun one.
Great. Well, thank you very much, guys.
I'll never forget my first cold slap. It was the day I was born. I was scared. Where was I? It was the doctor who brought me to my senses. I couldn't say thanks, I needed that then. But I needed that then, and I need it now. And I get it every morning from Skin Bracer. Its skin tightener and chin chillers wake me up like a cold slap on the face.
Well, everybody, this brings our first episode of our second season of TSC Radio to a close. We certainly want to thank you for spending time with us and listening to our radio show. We hope that the interview with the owners went as you expected. We hope it answered some questions for you, as well as gave you a little idea of where we're headed going forward. We're doing things a little bit differently than some of the other forums. We want this to be gentlemanly, but not overly ruled. So we're always open for suggestions. We like to have an open door policy, so please let us know if there's anything you'd like to see. Any complaints, any problems, we're open to hear everything. Also, we are going to be doing, as we said earlier, the show about once a month to start off. If it warrants, we'll do it more often. But we want you to drive the content of this radio show, so please make sure that you take a look at the TSC thread every so often, as we will be announcing for questions, we'll be announcing for contests, and so forth and so on. So, on behalf of myself, Chris, and Chad, we want to thank you for listening to the show. We want to say that you guys are the lifeblood of this forum, and we certainly appreciate the support that you've given us in such a short time. So, we'll see you in about a month, and the Shave Cadre radio show has been produced in conjunction with the TSC, the Shave Cadre, and Skyside Video Productions. I've been your host, Dave, Zeno Straight Shaver, formerly known as Skyside, and we'll see you next time around the planet.